Tyler Rhodes, Spencer Moore, and Rory Fearon. We will be discussing the morality of Google's new product, Glass. You will be playing the part of a consumer advocacy group, and we are the team that you have hired in order to study and review Glass. Spencer?
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, what exactly is Glass? Well, Glass is basically a hands-free computer that mounts on a frame, kind of like these sunglasses here. The computer part goes right here, and it projects an image into the user's eye that allows the user to see a semi-transparent kind of rectangle, which is the computer. And to command Glass, all people have to do is simply speak the command such as Glass, take a picture. Now, I want everyone to imagine that with this simple motion, you will be able to watch your daughter blow out birthday candles when you're separated by 3,000 miles because of Google Glass. Imagine being stuck on the side of a road and being able to pop the hood of your car, look inside, and have Glass tell you exactly what's wrong, piece by piece, so that you can fix it and be on your way. Now, while there are many advantages to this product, there are also some disadvantages. Namely, people's perception of an invasion of privacy with this product and the subsequent moral responsibility placed on Google by releasing it. Rory?
Google Glass itself is a morally neutral object that can only be integrated into a moral framework when it is used by a specific person in a specific way. I anticipate that people will use it in a varied amount. So, integrating every single Google Glass user into a single moral framework is probably impossible. But regardless, I'm going to try and anticipate some of the potential benefits and some of the potential negatives of Google Glass. And ultimately, I will argue that the benefits of Google Glass far outweigh the potential negatives. Now I will introduce the moral framework which I will be using to deal with this device. Pivotal to how our society works is the idea of autonomy, which is basically the idea that people are self-governing and are responsible for their own actions. Now I'd like to emphasize that Google has designed this product in a way to specifically make it moral and ethical, in that they have put on a light that indicates that filming is occurring. And we would like to recommend that a further step that would make it even more explicit that filming is occurring is to add an additional screen that can be slid back and forth. So, given the fact that people are autonomous and responsible for their actions, and that Google has created barriers to prevent people from impeding on other people's privacy, any misuse that is experienced while using Glass and impedes on other people's privacy won't be indicative of the Glass itself, but of the person using Glass. So, I would like to introduce a possible scenario that I think illustrates why autonomy is legitimate. Take, for instance, the technology of cameras. Now, it's produced with the intention that you can record events in your lives. You can go back to it and have nostalgic reminiscence, basically, or you could share it with people. Now, this doesn't prevent me from climbing into a tree and filming you when you have a right to privacy. But I think it's fair to say that this isn't indicative of a video camera at all. It's indicative of my own will. So I would like to emphasize that Google is not made with the intention of being an espionage device. They're marketing this for mainly the purpose of increasing nostalgia amongst people, and there's already espionage devices that are cheaper and have far more sophisticated capacities to pick up audio and visual information. Next, I will introduce how our ability to regulate what information is available about ourselves is related and is necessary for human interaction and human intimacy. Basically, people fear that in the future, technology such as facial and voice text software will be used to record every single thing that a person is saying and log it onto a public profile that everyone can see. And in this dystopian world, human intimacy would be impossible because everyone knows everything about each other. But this doesn't have to happen because users will have control over their privacy settings, which is much like how it is with Facebook and Twitter at this point. People are projecting an explicit an explicit reference to themselves, and this isn't changing the game all that much. It might increase the ease with which we do it, but the fact that we have privacy control ensures that we'll be in control of what we are projecting onto other people. Another important feature of Google Glass is that it has the promise of increasing objectivity that we depict history with. So if you consider history in the past, we've depicted via word of mouth, inscribing onto stones, the printing press. All of these methods have significant drawbacks, and pictures really provide a completely objective picture of what is going on. I'd like to introduce the recent event of the Egyptian Revolution, and the fact that people had smartphones really provided us with many different viewpoints of what was going on in Egypt, and on a daily basis we were getting those viewpoints and updates about what was going on. And I'd also like to introduce the recent occurrence of the Boston bombing. A picture that was taken by a civilian directly led to his capture, and I think that having Google Glass on our face would increase the ease with which we can take pictures and increase our ability to capture people who commit acts like these. So, two last other concerns that have been brought up are the ability of this device to increase distraction and decrease eye contact, but really these arguments do not hold because people are autonomous agents and should consider these potential pitfalls of this technology, and they should act accordingly. So really any experience of decreased eye contact or distraction that is experienced by an individual would be the result of their own autonomous will.
So, when we're looking at a revolutionary product like glass in a moral sense, it's crucial to understand this product through the specific lens of business ethics. So what that means is that as an advocacy agency, or as agents hired by such an agency, it's crucial for us to be sure before we advocate for the release of a product that Google has a stable moral framework that they are going to be willing to uphold. Now, what that means is that we want to ensure that Google values the privacy of individual users. And after studying the moral framework that Google abides by, it's our belief that Google absolutely is prepared and willing to uphold this end of a contract bargain. One specific piece of evidence that clearly indicates their willingness to uphold this contract is in the fact that Google's taken an unprecedented technological step by releasing thousands of models of Google Glass in the beta version to selected users who can use them and interact with the device in their daily lives. And this is obviously a huge contrast to corporations like Apple, where the release of their products are essentially a covert operation. And this shows that Google is completely willing and prepared for their device to have holes and potential flaws revealed during this beta period, ensuring that at the end of the period, the device is as safe and private as the consumers deserve. So, thank you very much.
Well done.